and how blessed we all are to be here where we can do that with such confidence. It's very unusual that you start a session like this with a sing-along, but that's what we're going to do today, and in those programs is a word sheet for a song called Jewel of the Blue Ridge. Now, Jewel of the Blue Ridge has been adopted by the 50th Anniversary Planning Committee as our official theme song. And some of you may have heard it on the internet. It's been posted on the Visit Smith Mountain Lake website for probably over a year now. Some of you have heard parts of it at Westlake Theater because it's playing before every movie at Westlake Theater with some nice slides about living here at Smith Mountain Lake. But we're going to begin with that, and if you don't know the song, if you can say Jewel of the Blue Ridge, you're a long ways toward joining us in the chorus. So just pick that up and come along with us when the time comes.
I want to say one thing real quick, Jerry. We are honored to have two guests up here. Jerry Hale, of course, who wrote this song. Let's give him a big hand. And we also have one of the finest bluegrass musicians in this whole area, Jonathan Dillon, who Jonathan played on the original recorded version. So we appreciate him coming here and helping us old guys kind of struggle through this stuff.
We really do. Okay, if you are somewhere where you don't have a program, maybe you can find one to look over and share looking at the words so you get to join along with us. And Steve Farrar on the mandolin over here is going to kick this off a little bit with us and give you an idea what it sounds like. So Steve, you ready? 1, 2, 3. Visit Smith Mountain Lake, the chamber website, and there's a download button there. I think that's still there, Barb. Is that true? So you can download a copy, and the original that's recorded there, our friend Jonathan, musician, does like 3 of the instrumentals and everything on here. It's terrific. So enjoy that too. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, guys. Once again, we really appreciate it. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Bill Pyatt, and I'm the chair of the 50th Anniversary Steering Committee that has helped to put together this event today. I just want to say it's a beautiful day at Smith Mountain Lake. And I would really like to thank Appalachian Power for their foresight 50 years ago when they chose this day to reach Full Pond, knowing that we would have such great weather to enjoy it. Honestly, just a few hours ago, only 50 years ago, the Jewel of the Blue Ridge was born. At 50, she's now reached her prime, providing a beautiful, clean, and healthy place for families to make memories that they're going to cherish for a lifetime. Thank you all for your presence this morning to pay homage to this earthly construction that leaves us in awe of its heavenly beauty every single day. I'd like especially to recognize Congressman Robert Hurt, who is here with us today, Delegate Charles Poindexter, Franklin County Supervisor Bob Kamicha, Bedford County Supervisor Curry Martin, Mr. Isaac Sarver, representing Senator Mark Warner, Mr. Chris Collins, representing Senator Tim Kaine, and especially I'd like to recognize our cheerleader in chief, Ms. Vicki Gardner. Our presence here today is directly attributable to the vision, the energy, and the sheer unbridled determination to create a series of events designed to make this the best summer ever for making memories at the Jewel of the Blue Ridge. Thank you, Vicki, for that. Anyway, there are many, many people here who have much more important words to share with you than I. So at this time, I would like to yield the floor to the Honorable Robert Hurt, Member of Congress representing the 5th District of the Commonwealth of Virginia. Congressman Hurt, thank you very much.
Well, Bill, thanks so much. It is an honor to be here, to be sure. As your representative, representing Virginia's 5th District, of course, we represent all of Franklin County and Bedford and Pittsylvania County, the 3 counties that comprise this wonderful asset, this wonderful jewel of the Blue Ridge. I love the song, but it's an honor to be here and an honor to offer my welcome and thanks for all who have put so much into making this a reality today and as we go on. It's wonderful to be with Vicki and Larry. We appreciate it. Charles, good to see you. Bob and Curry. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here with you all as well. And Barb, where's Barb? I saw her. She is right there up front, still directing traffic. But it's an honor to be with each and every one of you. When I grew up in Pennsylvania County in Chatham, Virginia, and coming up to the lake was always such a big deal, still is today, but as a young person coming up here and being able to fish and to swim and to boat and to do all those things that we love about Smith Mountain Lake, it's something that reminds me of wonderful times and wonderful times that we've all had, and it was so much fun to listen to you play the music and to hear the enthusiasm of everybody here as we all sort of think about what this lake means to us. I think that it also is important to remember what it represents in the larger picture of innovation and industry. When I think about the fact that the power company 50 plus years ago, identified the Blackwater and the Roanoke rivers as a place that would be fertile to be able to deliver something that we all depend on, as we can all see here today, and that is electricity. The idea that we were able to have the smartest and the brightest people from all over the country come to figure out how to harness that power from this water is exciting to me. And then what followed? What followed? Who would have thought, even after it hit full pond 50 years ago, who would have thought that we would be sitting here in this jewel of the Blue Ridge and appreciate all the beauty that's been built? The state park, of course, being one of those things. But all of the homes and all the businesses that have grown up around as a consequence of that represent, I think, not just the industry, but the vision and the hard work of everybody that over the years that has dedicated so much. People have put their lives into this place, and so it's worthy that we are recognizing this date. It's worthy that we'll have signs up, thanks to, I guess, VDOT. For casting these signs and giving us something to remind us of just really what a special place this is, how important it is to us, and how important it is that we preserve it, and we preserve everything that goes along with it, so that in 50 years our children and grandchildren will be able to have a 100th, a century celebration with the same love and appreciation. So thanks for letting me be a part of this, Bill. And do I yield it to the next person?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll yield it to somebody who I've worked with in the House of Delegates and in the State Senate and now in Congress. Somebody is a dear friend. I always think it's funny. Anybody who knows Charles Poindexter, first of all, knows how much of course, he loves this area and loves the lake and loves Franklin County. And but every time I ever call him, it seems like he's on he's baling hay. And what? He can't hear very well anyway, but then you put him on a hay baler and he's answering his cell phone while I'm calling. And but I love working with Charles. He represents us so well down in Richmond and has really earned himself an important place to be able to look out for the priorities in terms of state spending and state dollars that come back home to this place that we love. So it's my pleasure to be able to introduce my friend, our friend, Charles Poindexter.
Thank you, Congressman, and it's so good to be home today. My first day. I've missed in 9 years representing this area in the General Assembly. I did bring a certificate and a resolution up that I'm going to present in just a moment, but I'm going to hog 1 minute first. I had no problem getting a leave of absence due to the fact that most people around Richmond call me Mr. Smith Mountain Lake. And I'm very honored and proud of that, and I love it, Smith Mountain Lake. And this day, March 7th, 50 years ago, my family stood on some boards on pilings that my father and I had installed the previous summer, wondering where the water was going to come to. And he had a little mark on one, and it did come to about 1 inch of where he had projected. He had worked on dams at TVA in World War II. So we were ready the next summer then for me to actually build a boathouse. So I feel at home. It's been a pleasure to represent the area, but also to work with TLAC and SMLA and all of you on projects around the area. So at this time, I'd like to read the resolution, and I would ask Vicki Gardner if she would come forward. There's lots of room, Vicki, for you and I over here.
Yeah. That's right.
From the Commonwealth of Virginia General Assembly, House Joint Resolution number 36, commending Smith Mountain Lake. Agreed to by the House of Delegates January 15th, 2016. Agreed to by the Virginia Senate on January 21st, 2016. Whereas, for 50 years, Smith Mountain Lake, nestled in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains, has been a place of respite and relaxation for thousands of sportsmen, water enthusiasts, and nature lovers. And whereas Smith Mountain Lake was formed when Appalachian Power, which is a unit of American Electric Power, embarked on a massive hydroelectric project to dam the Roanoke River. Construction began in 1960, and the lake was officially completed in 1966 and 67. Whereas Smith Mountain Lake, which is southeast of the city of Roanoke and southwest of the city of Lynchburg, has more than 580 miles of shoreline. It teems with wildlife and is a well-known fishing destination. And whereas over the years, Smith Mountain Lake, which is the largest inland water recreation area area wholly in the Commonwealth, became a popular vacation destination. Houses, condominiums, holiday homes were built by people who were drawn to the spectacular woodland beauty that surrounds the lake. And whereas with campgrounds, marinas, golf courses, shops, restaurants, and a variety of lodging options, Smith Mountain Lake has become a premier destination. And today, more than 12,000 people, 12,000 of us, call Smith Mountain Lake home. And whereas the population of Smith Mountain Lake increases by over 50,000 people during the summer, vacationers appreciate the serenity and outstanding vistas that surround them, and they frequently take advantage of the many programs and activities that are held around the lake. And whereas to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the creation of Smith Mountain Lake, a multitude of events and programs are planned for 2016, including a triathlon, fishing tournaments, a birthday party, regattas, races, festivals, and tours. Now, let it now be resolved by the House of Delegates, the Senate concurring, that the General Assembly hereby commend Smith Mountain Lake on the occasion of its 50th anniversary in 2016, and be it further resolved that the Clerk of the House of Delegates prepare a copy of this resolution for presentation to Vicki Gardner, Executive Director of the Smith Mountain Lake Regional Chamber of Commerce, as an expression of the General Assembly's admiration and appreciation for the organization's work to ensure that Smith Mountain Lake remains an outstanding destination for all Virginians. Patroned by myself and Delegate Kathy Byrne from Bedford County and Delegate Les Adams, who represents the Pennsylvania County part of Smith Mountain Lake. I chose Vicki when I had this drafted because in my mind, and I believe in the minds of all of us, she is Smith Mountain Lake person out front, always selling us, always caring for us, and always pushing Smith Mountain Lake. So I bring greetings from the General Assembly this morning, and Vicki, I'd like to now present this to you.
Thank you, and I'll be speaking in a minute, but
Okay.
My hero, this
Thank
guy
you.
is marvelous.
Our next speaker is Isaac Sarver, Office of U.S. Senator Mark Warner. Welcome, sir.
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to have to lower that a little bit. I'm not nearly as tall as Congressman Hurt. And it's a special pleasure to be here with you today representing Senator Warner as the son of a park ranger, particularly to be at this event at Smith Mountain Lake State Park. But I bring greetings on behalf of my boss, Senator Warner, who cannot be with you today. He's up in D.C. And I have a letter here with some words from him that I'd like to share. Dear friends, I'm pleased to extend warm greetings to all who are gathered for Full Pond Day and the dedication and unveiling ceremony of the Smith Mountain Lake Highway markers in Bedford County, Franklin County, and Pennsylvania County. This event is a testament to the pride you take in Smith Mountain Lake. It provides a wonderful opportunity to come together as a community to celebrate its 50th anniversary. Since Smith Mountain Lake reached Full Pond in 1966, it has contributed to the quality of life of residents and visitors and to the economic success of the region. We're fortunate to have such a strong and vibrant community in the Commonwealth. The contributions of Smith Mountain Lake have been extraordinarily valuable to the spirit and drive that make our Commonwealth and this nation great. On this important occasion, I'm very pleased to join with your family, friends, and community in wishing you the very best for a fulfilling and successful celebration of Smith Mountain Lake's 50th anniversary. Sincerely, Mark R. Warner. Thank you again for the opportunity, and I'm pleased to bring up my colleague from Senator Kane's office, Chris Collins.
Well, like Isaac, I'm a little bit shorter, and I'm also happy to be here on behalf of Senator Kane. And I brought some greetings from Senator Kane as well. I am pleased to send congratulations to the Smith Mountain Lake Regional Chamber of Commerce as you celebrate the 50th anniversary of Full Pond Day. Recognition from the Virginia Department of Historic Resources and placement of markers in Bedford, Franklin, in Pennsylvania County are a testament to your community's vision and hard work over the last half century. As an avid outdoorsman, land conservation has long been one of my top priorities. One of my first acts as governor was to set a goal of preserving 400,000 acres of open space in the Commonwealth. The 440,000 acres that we preserved included state parks, state forests, wildlife management areas, natural preserves, and Civil War battlefields. Virginia is blessed with unequaled natural and historic treasures, including 21 national parks, from Smith Mountain Lake to the Civil War battlefield at Manassas. These outdoor treasures serve as symbols of our nation's natural, cultural, and social history, a history sometimes marked by moments of joy, but also tragedy. Smith Mountain Lake has and always will embody the spirit of American resilience. Congratulations on an incredible 50 years, and here's to many more. And I have the pleasure of introducing someone that, as said earlier, doesn't really need an introduction here, Ms. Vicki Gardner from the Chamber of Commerce. I also have, on behalf of our office, I'd like to present you with a flag that's been flown over the United States Capitol.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, this is a little bit of a surprise. They wouldn't let me tell you earlier.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being here.
Glad you did.
You know, I could talk all day, but I won't. I'm going to try not to. Isn't it wonderful when you have a birthday party and it all comes together and everyone shows up? So I thank everybody for being here and being part of this huge celebration. We started 4 years ago in creation of this logo, and everyone said, that is so far off, my goodness. And here it is. It has crept up on us so quickly. And it is a community coming together. It is about the lake. It's about a celebration. 5 decades of building this community from what it was to what it is right now. And it has taken the effort of everybody here. And the celebration, the 50 years, which will continue all year long. There's so many people to say thanks to, but this committee led by Bill Piatt, who I brought in kicking and screaming, saying, no, I really don't need, and he has run with it. When I look at Barb Nocera, who has really been the champion of putting together these markers here, it didn't happen by accident. She was behind the scenes. She's been shadow boxing behind the scenes, doing everything. But these markers, the words that she wrote and all the correspondence to make it happen. And Jerry Hale, I remember at one of our meetings we said, gee, wouldn't it be great? What are we going to do with this? A lasting legacy. How can we celebrate? We don't really have any money to work with. How do we do this? And it all just came together. Jerry said, wouldn't it be cool if we had a song? And we now have a song. And somebody said, in the committee, as we're all light bulbs going off, we said, wouldn't it be great if we had like a video or something? And we have a PBS, did a documentary on Smith Mountain Lake. I hope everybody has seen it. And if you haven't, it comes up from time to time. It is marvelous. It didn't happen by accident. It happened through the support, the help, through everybody that is in here. We said, flippantly, wouldn't it be great if Al Roker were here to do the weather from Smith Mountain Lake? I mean, just all these ideas. Al Roker this morning did a tribute to Smith Mountain Lake as he did the weather. and so, it is dreaming, it is envisioning things and making it happen. And I would, I can't help but just express my gratitude for everybody here. And as you go out, let's make every single event that's happening successful, because it is all of these people in the community that have pulled together. One instance is today. We have our quilt, and I don't know at what point, Barb, our coordinator, that we, and this was probably one of the earliest items that came up of what can we do. And the Lake Quilters Guild, Cindy Clark said, I will do a quilt, because that's what we do. And I'll take a step backwards and say that there were so many people that came into my office and said, "Hey, Vicki, do you know what you should do for the 50th?" Yeah. Me and the 4 staff members. You know what you should do for the 50th. And we just took that in and we said, if that's your passion, then maybe that's what you should do. And guess what? That's how we have the Smith Mountain Lake Dam Run. That's how we have the cardboard boat regatta. That's how we have all of these things. But Cindy Clark made the most beautiful quilt I have ever seen, and it's on display out there. Yes. Tosh, the work. And the Lake Quilters Guild said, here, go ahead and use this. Maybe you can help to fund some of the effort for the 50th anniversary. And so we've been selling tickets, and of course the cutoff is done, right? We are going to
Here are the
draw.
tickets.
We are going to draw, and I think it's unfair because I do have some grandchildren's names in there, so. And daughters, and.
Should I have Charles?
Yeah, I would have Charles, I would certainly, yes.
Well, I can maybe hold it high.
Let me go a little deeper. No picking your dog.
I'm not believing this. Yeah, somebody that will truly, that I know is going to appreciate this quilt as much as anybody and has been part of this effort and went out and bought a ticket, and that's Terry Jones. Oh my goodness. It says so right here. It's yours, Terry. Oh my. Oh gosh. Well, as I say, there's a lot of other people. I love you. Everybody in this room, thank you so much for having this dream come true. And this is just the beginning. Today is just the start of the very best year Smith Mountain Lake has ever had. So thank you to everybody for sharing. And it is my pleasure to introduce somebody that is near and dear to the chamber, to this community, that does more work behind the scenes than you will ever know, that supports us in so many ways and doesn't seem to take the credit that is due. But my friend and partner and who's involved in just everything, Larry Jackson, who's manager of external affairs for Appalachian Power. Please.
Well, I can honestly say I've not had this much fun in an event in a very long time. You know, when the leaders of Appalachian Power began planning for the Smith Mountain project, they knew it would be an economic engine for the region. However, I doubt they could have envisioned it would turn out to be such an incredible place that it is today. And just look around the room if you don't believe it. Similarly, when the 50th anniversary steering committee created a historical committee 4 years ago, we didn't know we would be able to recover such a rich history of this area, a history that reaches well beyond the creation of the Smith Mountain project. We also didn't envision there would be such a keen interest in the area's history. There has been standing room only at nearly all of our historical lectures, and by the way, the next lecture is tomorrow at 1:30 at the Manita Library if you want to be part of that standing room crowd. That interest has caused us to create 2 programs, one that looks backwards at the history of this area, and then one that envisions what will be like in 25 years. Last year, the Singleton 4-H Center, along with our committee, took on the project of developing a virtual traveling trunk program on the 50-year history of Smith Mountain Lake. Teachers in the 3 counties surrounding the lake were introduced to this program last year to bring the history of this area into reality for the school children around here. Now this spring, the Chamber is sponsoring an essay contest for all these students with the theme, what will Smith Mountain Lake be like in 2041, 25 years from now, 2041, remember that date. This contest, there are 3 divisions, elementary school, middle school, and high school. The elementary level is a coloring contest, and the other two are essay contests. There will be 2 winners from each category from each county, with each one receiving a $50 gift card, and that their essays will be placed in a time capsule. The time capsule will be located at the Smith Mountain Dam Visitor Center, and we'll be sealing that probably around September of this year. Finally, we've worked with the Virginia Department of Historic Resources to create a lasting tribute to Smith Mountain Lake. I'm pleased to introduce to you Michael Pullis, architectural historian with the Department of Historical Resources, to give you the details. Michael?
Thank you very much. It's great to be here today and see this wonderful turnout. I just wanted to give you all a brief overview of the historical marker program, because it turns out a lot of people really don't know much about the program, which is one of the more significant ones that the department administers. Virginia's first historical roadside markers were erected in 1927. Making ours the oldest state marker program in the country. Since then, we've placed more than 2,500 of them across the state. In 1976, the state stopped funding new markers. Now, in most cases, we rely on private organizations to apply for new markers and to pay for them. Each potential marker topic must display regional, statewide, or national significance, and the information on the sign must be thoroughly documented. Each marker text must then be approved by the Virginia Board of Historic Resources, whose members are appointed by the governor. Given the high standards of the marker program, the dedication of these 3 new signs is certainly a reason for celebration. The marker program would not exist without the participation of community-minded citizens like all of you. And I would like to thank once again everyone whose efforts helped to bring this marker about. Particularly the sponsors, the Smith Mountain Lake Regional Chamber of Commerce, for having me here to represent the department. And many thanks again to Barb Nocera for working with DHR throughout the marker and text editing process, which is necessarily a long and arduous one. I'm sure she could tell you about that. And the reason for that is we don't want incorrect statements to be there on the roadside and misleading people who read them. So one last thanks to the Virginia Department of Transportation for installing the 3 markers. And on behalf of the Commonwealth of Virginia, we're proud to share this special day and to present these markers commemorating Smith Mountain Lake. Thanks to all of you for coming. It's great to see everyone here. Up next is Franklin County Administrator Brent Robertson. Thanks again.
Well, I'd like to thank you for having me here today. In my current role as county administrator in Franklin County, I tend to think of Smith Mountain Lake these days in terms of economic development and meals tax and property values and things of that nature, because the Smith Mountain Lake area, both in this part of the county and the southern part, southern part, provides a lot of revenue for the county to provide services to the entire county. So while it is a tremendous economic engine, it means something a little more. And when I was putting my thoughts together for a few comments here, I realized what a large influence this lake has had on me personally. And when I popped up Wikipedia, I was looking back at the beginning and found out the lake construction and myself are the same age. They started building in 1960, a very good year, one of which I was born. And really, I think the lake, I can associate a lot of milestones in my life with it along the way. Fishing as a child on some pontoon boats and from the shorelines of friends who lived here at the time, learning to ski from friends. We didn't own property here, but we're here a lot. Learning to ski in my early teen years, my high school years, which I probably won't really discuss much of, even though I think the statute of limitations has made some of those. And then I've been in Roanoke the last 30 years working for Roanoke County, but my family is here and I've been coming for those whole 30 years. So it's not like I've really left. But now in a new phase of my life, we've been reunited with the lake, and I'm looking forward to my role in helping continue what's been done the last 50 years here. So in the milestones in my life, while economic development is very important for this area, why is it important? Because of what it adds to the quality of life to everybody here in Franklin, Pennsylvania, Bedford, all of those. So it is a world-class facility that people come from all over the world to see. And so I'm very proud of that, and I feel somewhat responsible now that I've got to not screw it up in my tenure here as well. But there's a lot of great people to work with, as I've already worked with Vicki, the TLAC group, Larry Jackson, and many others. So I think Congressman Hurt stole a little of my thunder and indicated, what does the next 50 years bring? And I think part of my job as a planner, as somebody who looks to the future, is to try to make sure we set in motion to take care and turn this over to the generations 50 years from now and make it as good or better than it is today. And so that's my charge, and I appreciate everyone's help and as we move along toward those next 50. So once again, 2066, I'll go one up on you here. What are we going to say here in this room, or maybe we'll do it on the Franklin County side next time or something. But yeah, so once again, it's a challenge but a joy at the same time. And so with that, I thank you for having me here today, and what the lake does for Franklin County and all of our surrounding localities, of which I'll now turn over the podium to the County Administrator for Bedford County, Carl Bogus.
I will pick up a little bit on what Brent said. I grew up in Bedford County. Didn't grow up on the south side, but my grandfather bought a place over here when the lake was, gosh, I think you could see it way down there somewhere. So I got to drive out in the boat and dodge pine trees, go to Saunders Marina with this really long floater with the gas lines going out so you could actually get some gas, and riding my bicycle down a gravel road that I guess now is Alapan subdivision, and you just pick up your feet and go right out into the water. So it was kind of cool watching the lake fill up as a kid. On behalf of the Bedford County Board of Supervisors, I'm honored to be here, and I'm not going to belabor much more other than to say that it's just amazing having been here for all these years to just see how this area has changed. As a kid, basically every road at the lake, unless it was, I guess, an arterial, was gravel. 122 on the Bedford side has been rebuilt. I think most of 608's been rebuilt. You look around at the churches, they're all basically new or rebuilt. It has changed this area in ways that we can't imagine. It's from a human perspective, it's been a very important part of the three counties, and just glad to be here, and look forward to the future. Thank you. And we'll now hear from Clarence Mundy from Pennsylvania County.
Good morning. With me today, I have the Honorable Jesse Bartsdale, who is the chairman of the Pennsylvania County Board of Supervisors. And as you can tell, this is a very important day for Pennsylvania County and for all of you that have come out for this common reason today. But in thinking of Smith Mountain Lake, we think of many things. I was born and raised over in Henry County and spent my entire life in this region of Virginia. But we have a lot to be proud of with what Smith Mountain Lake has brought to us. We think of the beauty of the lake and the shoreline. We think of relaxation and how we can come out for a summer picnic and spending time with family. Recreation, boating, fishing, which I'm a big fan of, catching those big stripers here in Smith Mountain Lake. Also camping and boating. And I'll always have special memories of Smith Mountain Lake. I started my career out many years ago in public safety, and I was a scuba diver, and I decided I wanted to be a scuba instructor to teach the law enforcement and the fire and rescue people around. And I got to come to Smith Mountain Lake to do my training dives here. And believe me, the waters of Smith Mountain Lake in October in a wetsuit is very cold. I spent many hours here becoming a diving instructor. So Smith Mountain Lake adds to the heritage of Pittsylvania County. I wish we had a few more miles of shoreline. If Franklin or Bedford wants to give up any of the lake, please let us know, and we'll be glad to annex those into our tax base. But it is a great economic engine, and we're very proud to have Smith Mountain Lake in Pittsylvania County to be a part of today. And finally, I'll ask Ms. Gardner if she will come forward, please. The Board of Supervisors has the privilege from time to time to adopt proclamations and resolutions, and I'd just like to read a couple of lines of a resolution that was unanimously approved by the Pennsylvania County Board of Supervisors. It says, whereas, given all of its beauty and recreational resources, the main purpose of Smith Mountain Lake and the reason it was built remains the same, to generate electricity. Then now, therefore, be it resolved that the Pennsylvania County Board of Supervisors, on behalf of all the citizens of Pennsylvania County, commend Smith Mountain Lake on the celebration of its 50th anniversary in 2016, and be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be presented to Ms. Vicki Gardner, Executive Director of the Smith Mountain Lake Regional Chamber of Commerce, as an expression of Pennsylvania County's admiration and appreciation for the organization's work to ensure Smith Mountain Lake remains a shining jewel for all to enjoy. Given on the 16th day of February 2016, Jesse L. Barksdale, Chairman, Pennsylvania County Board of Supervisors, Clarence Mundy, Clerk of Pennsylvania County Board of Supervisors. Ms. Gardner.
We have a lot to do to live up to all these proclamations.
Exactly. Thank you, and turn the program back over to Bill Pyatt at this time for the rest of the program.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I mean, what an incredible place this is. Thank you all. Thank you all for those kind words. Thank you for coming. Now, we're actually going to go outside, and we're going to have the unveiling of the Bedford marker, which is representative of the other two counties' markers as well. Following the unveiling, we'll take some photos, we're going to get some group shots, and we're going to have another special treat for you outside that you'll realize once you get there. Once we finish that, we're going to come back inside to the other side where you can admire the quilt. Admire your quilt. Your quilt. And there's some refreshments. There'll be some refreshments at that time. Now, I also have one additional announcement that was not part of this program, but it's important that all of you know because you may have been planning to go there. It seems that shall we say, we have a complication associated with the unveiling of the Loveworks sculpture this afternoon. Someone borrowed the letters last night, and they haven't brought them back yet. So we don't actually have any love letters to unveil this afternoon, unless maybe they appear magically between now and 1:30. So you might want to drive by Westlake about 1:30 just in case they might have appeared at that time. Otherwise, please watch for them on eBay and let us know when you see them. Three, two, one, do it. All right.
Hold it.